Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. There's no time for any long intro today, so let's just get right into it. So to get straight into the video, the company that we're going to be working with today is MyShinyWigs. We're working with a 22-inch 13x4 pre-made wig, and I will say this, I was very skeptical on getting it pre-made because y'all know these companies are so stingy when it comes to the frontal spaces. But this one actually really impressed me a lot. It was a complete and full frontal, and as you can see, it comes with a very generous hairline. On the inside of the wig, you have these wig clips that companies still have not gotten the memo about because if I'm being honest, nobody that I know keeps these clips in. But it also comes with an adjustable and detachable elastic band that also came inside of the box as well. In this tutorial, our focus will be showing you how to bleach your knots perfectly with absolutely no brassiness at all, plucking your frontal for a little scalp moment, and styling this wig to perfection. So are you guys ready? Okay, let's get started. First step, let's bleach these knots. So with this being a pre-made wig, we don't really have that luxury of bleaching our knots on a flat area or space. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing is spray my hair backwards to make sure that absolutely no hairs get in the way. To bleach our knots, at this point, y'all already know the drill. We can basically bleach knots with our eyes closed, if I'm being honest with you. But I'm mixing my bleach developer and bleach powder together to create a paste, but not too thick of a paste. So I tried to get the wig as flat as possible, but I made sure I'm not pressing it down completely so that those hairs on the other side are not easily bleached. And I like to hold on to my wig on certain parts so that I can feel the pressure that I'm actually applying. We don't want to apply too much pressure because trust me, that is a recipe for disaster. So yeah, basically with this application, just take your time and check up on the other side every once in a while to make sure that those hairs are not being covered. So basically I let that sit in until it was at the desired bleach level that I wanted, and for this hair that did not even take long at all. Like, that seriously tells you that this hair is some quality hair. So you can see that the knots are way less visible and absolutely no hair was covered in the process. This is such a big accomplishment, girl. You should be proud. But I'm rinsing it all out to stop the bleaching process, and although these knots are way less visible, you can see that it has a bit of brassiness to it that we do not want at all. And with the help of Peak Mill, I was able to pick up on this new trick that I wanted to share with you guys. Instead of applying the purple shampoo on the lace and then letting it sit in and dry out, basically I'm mixing a bowl of water with the purple shampoo and just creating a mixture that I'm going to let the hair sit in for about 10 minutes or so. Once that 10 minutes is up, it is time to rinse every single thing out. All of the brassiness is gone completely and all the knots are evenly toned. Moving on to the next part of this process, we're going to pluck our frontal to absolute perfection, and we're going to be doing this the extremely beginner friendly way so that you can make sure that you avoid as many mistakes as possible. So I'm starting by getting my wig down and very flat, pulling each sides, making sure that there are no bumps or ridges underneath. You want this process to be as easy as possible, so do make sure that your wig is completely flat on this canvas head. Firstly, I'm going to be blow drying my hair backwards. This step to me is so necessary, especially when I was a beginner, because it allows me to see everything that I'm doing clearly. It also helps you visualize how your frontal is going to lay once everything is all laid and styled and installed on your head as well. You can also hot comb it as well if you want to give you more of a sleekness, or you can really do both. And yeah, this really does help with visualization, and it's such a great step for beginners to take, especially before plucking. And also to add, it'll help you not to pluck too much or not too little as well. You can already see what a difference this has made. So moving on, this is the tweezer that I like to use and prefer to use for my plucking purposes. So firstly, I'm going to create a middle part because that's the number one place that you do not want to over pluck or even pluck at all, so that you can have a full and pretty middle part. Well, that is if you're going for a middle part, of course. If you're going for a side part, then make your parting on, whatever side that you want. So on this side, I'm going going to be showing you one way that I pluck and also the way that I recommend for beginners, and on the other side I'll be showing you another way. But basically on this side, if you're a beginner, pay attention. So for this side, basically all I'm doing is parting and plucking in sections, considerably 3 sections, and I like to start on the section closest to the back. Number one tip I will give is that when you're plucking, because this is such a repetitive motion, you want to try as much as possible to not allow your tweezer to continuously graze directly on the lace. If you do, one, it can weaken your lace because there's so much friction that you're applying over and over and over again, and two, most importantly, it can disturb the other knots that you're not going to be pulling off, which can also weaken them and cause your frontal to shed a lot quicker. I know that it's not super obvious here, but what I'm making sure is that I'm plucking the hairs off, but not too closely to the lace and the knots so that they do not become too disturbed. I really hope that makes sense, but yeah, basically just make sure to try to keep that tweezer tip far away from the knots and the lace, if that makes sense. You just want to pluck the hairs. You want to grab some hair and pull off, grab some hair and pull off, grab some hair and pull off. But I'm pretty sure it'll make sense while you're doing it. But to move on, so I'm making the same motion over and over again in each of the different sections, but I'm making sure that my hand is constantly moving around. Do not stay in the same place for too long, because that is when you get carried away with plucking in that same spot, and you know, it'll result in a bald spot that you do not want, I promise you. So everything starts to make sense visually in that last and furthermost section. And yeah, this is the plucking strategy that I really recommend taking, especially if you're a beginner. If you're a bit more advanced like myself, you'd probably just get straight into plucking like I'm about to show you on this other side. And the only thing I recommend doing is to make sure that you remove that immediate most hairline section, because that is the part that you want to preserve the most. And you definitely do not want to overpluck that frontmost part at all. So typically I wouldn't even pluck as much as I am in this video. To me, this is even a lot of plucking, but I did here for obviously demonstration purposes, of course, so that you guys can see the difference in what I'm doing very well. Usually though, I would just pluck as minimally as possible, or until I just have a decent pluck to, you know, give me that scalp effect that we all want. But yeah, I basically just try to not overdo it to preserve my hairline as much as possible. Unless, of course, I'm going for a certain style that I know I'm not gonna be wearing for that long, then I'll definitely go ham and, you know, get that scalp look that I want. But in most cases, I'm buying wigs or wearing wigs knowing that I want to wear them for a long time. I'm going to pluck as little as possible, but plucking enough to make sure that I do have that nice hairline. Also, I definitely give a lot of tips on how you can maintain your hairline and your frontal hairline and to make it last for over a year in this video that will be up in this key card right now. So I definitely recommend checking it out. But yeah, once everything is giving me correct plucked and scalped vibes, I'm going to move on to styling this wig. So I'm starting by coating my hair in this BioSilk serum that I absolutely love. It gives me such a soft and luxurious feel to my hair. And then I'm going to go straight into blow drying this wig and getting it ready for the popping curls I'm about to give it. I try to blow dry to a real sleek finish, and I have my blow dryer on the highest heat, of course, and I keep the direction of the blow dryer pointing downwards so that the shorter hairs aren't going in different directions, and you can see what a difference that makes. Next, I actually decided to change up my parting to a side part, and once this is done, I'm basically just hot combing it down while using this wax stick for a really nice sleek parting. On the other side, of course, I'm running the hot comb down on small partings at a time to make sure that I really get that sleekness that I want. This is probably my favorite part because you can really see everything come together at this point, to the point where you almost forget what your wig actually started out like. But moving right along, the next step, I'm just going to be curling my units. I'm not a pro at curling, and I don't claim to be, especially with the curling iron, so we're not even going to get too deep into this, okay? But I'm using pins and this big sexy hairspray to really work the curls. And do I really like this hairspray? No, but I'm going to keep using it until I'm out before I get a new one. I'm almost out anyway, so it doesn't even matter. If you guys can recommend some really good hairsprays to me down below, I would really appreciate that. I basically want a hairspray that does give me that hold, but I don't like that crunchy effect that Got To Be spray gives. And yeah, I just don't like it at all. And this hairspray as well gives that. I just don't like it. But moving on, I also did decide to add some layers to her so that the curls don't fall too flat. I really do suggest doing this to your curly units to just add that extra volume to it. But once I'm done curling this entire unit, this is what everything is looking like, and it is time to put this beautiful unit on. So moving on from this point forward, everything is a bit lazy. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I had a rough day this day, but in the end it did come together and everything looked bomb. But I'm literally just putting a wig cap on, and I put a bit of foundation powder on top of it. I was just too lazy to do the whole bald cap method and all of that. I didn't want to go through any of that, but I would recommend doing that, especially for HD lace like this one, because here I really did regret not doing the bald cap method or not even wearing a cap at all, and you'll see why in a bit. But my first step is to take the rat tail comb and to cut out the shape of my ears. This part is so crucial and can literally make or break your wig. You can ruin the fit of a perfectly good unit just by cutting too much of the lace off. So try to stay as close to your ear as possible and try to get it to look just like this, because this right here is perfect. I did the same exact thing on the other side of my unit, and once we're all done with that, I tightened everything at the bottom, you know, the elastic band strips that it comes with, just to give me a really secure fitting. I basically just buckled the things together and I just kept it pushing, to be honest. To cut my lace, I'm using these medical scissors that I got from Amazon, and I'm showing you guys here that I'm cutting downwards each time to give me that rigid look, because the last thing you want to do is cut a straight line on your lace. You want to cut like this for a more natural and seamless blend. And once that is all done, the fit is fairly okay with me, so I simply decided to just spray everything down, spray down those very naughty sides down. Y'all know these sideburns are so stuck up and so irritating and so annoying. So yeah, I basically just used this ORS spray. I ran out of Got To Be spray, and if I had any left, I most likely would have used that, but this one worked perfectly fine as well. So as you can see, I definitely underestimated the quality of this HD lace, because girl, you can see that wig cap right through it. We're just going to have to pretend that that is not there at all. Next time I'll be sure to wear this wig with either doing the bald cap method or not even wearing the bald cap thingy at all, because no, like this looks a bit embarrassing, and thank God I was not going anywhere after this. But yeah, I have my baby hairs cut and ready, and with some foaming spray I'm basically just laying that down, and I also put some foaming spray on the perimeter of the lace so that it can further help with melting that lace as well. Then I'll just seal the deal with putting my elastic band. I left that on for about 10 minutes or until I just know that everything has dried underneath, and once it's all done, I combed the curls out, and this is what everything is looking like. And girl, this is such a vibe, and the curls are giving exactly what it needs to give. I completely love this hair. The only con that I do have about this wig is that it is so scanty. It didn't give me that fullness, that volume that I really wanted with the curls. I'm pretty sure this was 180 density or something like that, but it was not as full as I wanted it to be. So if you do get it, I would recommend just buying an extra bundle so that you can add the tracks to the hair, or if they have an option where you can get a higher density, then definitely do that. But other than that, I completely love this hair. Super quality hair. So yeah, feel free to check out MyShinyWigs on Instagram, and everything else that you will need to know will be provided down below for you. With all of that being said, be good to yourself, and I'll see you guys in my next video.